Now here we have a very rare treat. No, not because the GMC Acadia is rare or a rare sight on the road. In fact, it's quite popular. So are all GMC products. No, what's, well, rare is that I actually get to drive a GMC product. I mean, I think I've sat in a Canyon once. Pretty sure I drove a Sierra in the last decade. I couldn't point out a terrain if it was right in front of me. All right, so I kid. But the GMC Acadia, however, I am a little bit more familiar with because I did a massive road trip with one exactly 4 years ago when this generation of the SUV was introduced. And quite frankly, my opinion of it was not very favorable. There was one major issue, and well, frankly, it's gone. So maybe I'm feeling much better about the new 2020 Acadia. In fact, it's new because it's got a facelift. I'll make my way around the front, a few other tweaks, but the most important update is right here. You can definitely see a lot of Sierra action in there. The way the headlights are cut out, the grille shape and size and proportions, and it really, really works. Now, as I've said, this is a 2020 Acadia. 2021 pricing is already available in the US. I'm thinking days or weeks before it is available in Canada. So let's go with 2020, $37,198 base price for a front-wheel drive SLE. Front wheel what? Front? Huh? SLE in Canada. In the US, $29,800 for front-wheel drive SL, so even less kits. Now there's a Denali, and that's the one I drove 4 years ago, but I really don't care about that right now because this model, this is the one that I think that is the most interesting in so many respects. And that is the new AT4. Yes. So base price for the AT4 in Canada is $47,898. In the US, $42,200. So what do you get with that? All-wheel drive, thankfully. 3.6 liter V6, hill descent, hill start, which are unique to the AT4. You get 17-inch wheels with the all-terrain tires. In fact, that's one of the dead giveaways for the styling on this thing. These Continental Terra Contact tires, big fatty rubber, really gives the AT4 that extra dose of attitude. It's got an 8-inch screen on the inside, 4.2-inch driver display, Bose audio, blah, blah, blah. All right, a word on styling. I mean, I showed you the front, but I really like it. It's very simple, but it's still, there's work involved here too. I like the cladding, the way it kind of dips towards the wheel on both sides between the wheelbase, the rising belt line. It's really, I don't know, it looks really good. It looks rugged. It looks like a real SUV should. I guess that's the best way to put it. All right, now here's something else that's different about the AT4. No, not the power hatch. My shadow. All right, first of all, that's 1,180 some odd liters of trunk space, or almost 42 cubic feet. It's huge, it's deep, it's wide, it's accessible, and it's fantastic. In fact, it's even better than you think because, apologies for the shadow. All right, so under the carpet, you have this loading area, which is wonderful. And because it's a 5-seater and not a 7-seater, like the other Acadias, 2 more storage spaces. So they're actually padded with the foam, so things can roll around and they won't make any noise, which is fantastic. All right, so that's cool about the AT4. In fact, one of the reasons why I think I like it a lot. The other reason, and it's related to that, is that the second row, like for the 3-row models, actually slides fore and aft and reclines and all that. So this is max back, max recline for the baby seats, which means that they have tons of legroom. Look at this, it's huge. And also, because the belt line is still reasonably low over here, my kids can see out the window. This also helps too. You could put kind of fit a small adult between the 2 seats, but 3 adults across, definitely happy. Absolutely ecstatic. 2 kids in their baby seats in the back. Now in the front, you may have noticed some of the kind of cross-colored mixes. I really like that. The cloth seats are extremely soft, very plush. I don't know what that'll be like on a long road trip, but at least there is power lumbar support. fit and finish is actually quite nice. Once again, I'm kind of bashing on Ford, but this is better than what you'll get in an Escape. The way the materials feel, the way they come together. Let's start her up. All right, so there's your 4.2 inch IP, blah, blah, blah. 8-inch display with GMC Infotainment, so you can see you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You get all the apps you could really need while you're driving, of course. Satellite radio is a nice touch as well. Very straightforward. HVAC controls, call me an old man, but I like that. This, I don't know. I can only see two advantages to this. Obviously, it opens up a lot of space for storage, so all your masks and your cables and all that. And the other advantage is, let's just say you're driving and you come to a stop, you can just power down and it automatically, electronically goes to park. Call that an advantage? I don't know. I kind of like that. Storage is really good. Door bins are decent. This right here under the center armrest is enormous. Before I touch on that, one of the main issues with the previous truck I drove a few years ago is this catastrophically huge blind spot. When you're making that tight left-hand turn, you can't see anything. So I don't know, a pedestrian or a cement median or something like that, you're likely to drive right over it unless you go really wide and then come back. That's bad. This, however, is okay, which brings me, I guess, to this. Now, it's an AT4, so it's front-wheel drive first, and then all-wheel drive. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few moments. But basically, as far as a classic, now I do mean classic SUV via proportions and space and all that, I like the packaging quite a bit. Far more than the Traverse I drove, I don't know, in the last year or so. And the drive, also very nice. Let's go. So, as you may have guessed, I've gone from thoroughly disliking the Acadia that I drove 4 years ago to actually very much enjoying my time with this truck. The main culprit as to why I disliked the Acadia was the 6-speed automatic transmission, which was standard 4 years ago. I don't know what it was. It was rough, unresponsive. It almost felt like GM had put in a 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6 gearing or whatever, and they just completely ruined everything. But now you get a 9-speed automatic transmission, and so far in the 5 days that I've had the Acadia, it's been flawless. Absolutely smooth, responsive, doing exactly what I want it to be doing or what it should be doing at all times. Back again is the 3.6 liter V6, which puts out 310 horsepower, 271 pound-feet of torque, which is ample power for this almost 4,300 pound SUV. It's also ample power to tow up to 4,000 pounds. But beyond that, beyond its capabilities, it's so smooth, extremely refined. And that would be a great way to describe the whole of the driving experience with this. Now, despite it not having the adaptive ride control that is available with the Denali trim, this thing glides over the surface. It's, again, comfortable. So, it's poised. It's almost plush. A lot of that may have to do with the oversized balloon 17-inch tires. If so, here's a hint. GMC just put them on all Acadias. But, I mean, handling is not negatively affected. It still does exactly what you would want an SUV like this to do on a daily basis. If you're getting a little bit excited, well, then you can always put it into sport. Gears are held a little bit longer. Throttle response is just a little bit sharper. But still, I mean, that was, 6,500 RPM. It's still not that noisy in here. It's so quiet in here, no matter what. Now, another thing that has bugged me about the Acadia and most of GM's SUVs is this wheel. this all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive wheel, because this is an Acadia AT4. I don't want to be driving a front-wheel drive Acadia AT4. But that's how I picked it up. It was in two-wheel drive. So the first 3 days that I drove it, I would switch into all-wheel drive. It's a mental thing, I don't know. I want an all-wheel drive Acadia AT4. And every morning when I would pick it up again, it would switch back into two-wheel drive, which I find excessively annoying. It is the stupidest thing that's ever been programmed into any vehicle that I have ever seen. If you park in a snowbank in the winter or whatever, it really doesn't matter, I suppose, but then you have to manually switch it into all-wheel drive. However, in the last 36 hours, it's remained in all-wheel drive every time. So maybe there's some kind of algorithm. Hopefully, maybe someone watching this video will know about this and will have an answer for me. I think this is completely pointless. Another thing that's kind of annoying, and the same thing with a lot of GM products, once you turn on the fog lights and they automatically switch off instead of staying on. I don't know, so many other cars just, you want the fogs on, the fog lights stay on. But in this thing, they turn off. It's like it knows better than you. Same thing with this. No, I'm not frustrated because I actually really like this. Great ride quality, good power, fuel economy, whatever. It's in the upper 12s, I suppose, which I guess is kind of acceptable. Priced at about $50,000 as tested. It's not that much money, but it's a lot of money too, because if you, for example, take into consideration a Honda Passport, for that price you get a Touring, which has a little bit more tech, a few more features, better niceties, you know, it feels more upgraded, if you will. Is it better? Yes, no. More spacious, more capable, no. But I don't know. GM has an annoying knack, and a number of manufacturers do this because we're willing to pay. They just overcharge just so they can reduce the price when you're negotiating or give you some big fat incentives and make you think like you're getting a deal. At a US price of like 43 grand, 42 and change or whatever, this would be a knockout winner in the segment. It's still really, really good. I really like it. And it's definitely my favorite Acadia. I prefer it over the Traverse. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of a weird conclusion, but there you have it.